Hi everyone, I'm here today with my May book haul. Some of these books are books I've been sent from publishers for review, and some of them are books that I've been buying from bookshops to help support bookshops and authors during this time that we find ourselves in. As usual, all of the books I mention will be linked in the description box down below. So firstly, I bought a cloth-bound classic edition of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I don't think I need to tell you what this is about. I thought I already had a copy of this, not this edition, but a different edition. I couldn't find it, and I had decided to read the book from start to finish on Instagram stories. So I bought this from Storytellers Inc. This is a book, as I said, that I'm reading on Instagram stories every day, 3 chapters at a time. We are 1 week in, and I am saving those lives so that I can upload them to YouTube too in 6 installments. So there will be a whole audiobook of Pride and Prejudice. I use that word very loosely because it's a very casual reading, but a whole read through of this book, which I will be uploading on YouTube too, and I'm hoping to get the first installment up this weekend. I was also sent a proof copy of this from Granta. This is People from My Neighborhood by Hiromi Kawakami. Now, she is the person who wrote Weather in Tokyo, which I have not read yet, and this is translated from the Japanese by Ted Goosen. This is a really short book. This is actually a collection of short stories. So it says that these are her super short, palm of the hand stories where the world is never quite as it should be. A small child lives under a sheet near a neighbor's house for 30 years. An apartment block leaves its visitors with strange afflictions, and from fast growing beards to an ability to channel the voices of the dead, an old man has 2 shadows, one docile, the other rebellious. 2 girls named Yoko are locked in a bitter rivalry to the death. So this is mostly flash fiction. I'm very intrigued by this. I was also sent this book, which is even shorter. This one I think is about 75 pages. It's published by Fairlight Books. I mentioned this in my last haul because they previously sent me an unbound proof, and now this book is published. It is out in the world. It's called A Saint in Swindon by Alice Jolie. And this is very apt because it's about someone who arrives in a town, locks themselves in a room, and asks all the locals for specific books that they can read. So it is about self-isolation. It is about quarantine. So I want to read this one soon, and then I want to do a video about characters who are quite isolated. For work, I bought 3 Tracey Chevalier novels, 2 that I've already read, Girl with a Pearl Earring, which is about this painting, the history of it, and The Lady and the Unicorn, which is about embroidery, and our main narrator is going blind, if I remember correctly. I read those 2 books about 16 years ago or so. I also bought Falling Angels, which is about 2 women who meet in Highgate Cemetery just after the death of Queen Victoria. And I'm going to be reading all 3 of these this month because this month I am reviewing a lot of Tracey Chevalier's backlist books for Toast. And I'm really thrilled with that because I think it's going to be a lovely thing to do. I adore her books. I also bought Longbourn by Jo Baker. Lots of historical fiction in here, which is, I was going to say unusual for me, less unusual in current months, but I definitely have lingered more on historical fiction than I used to in the past. So I bought Longbourn by Jo Baker, which I think I'll read once I have finished doing the read through of Pride and Prejudice, because this is also based on Pride and Prejudice. It is from the perspective of the Bennet servants at Longbourn, and I've heard lots of very favourable things about it. Another historical fiction I bought, Bring Up the Bodies by Hilary Mantel. I bought this because I bought Wolf Hall a couple of months back, which I still haven't read, but I need to because The Mirror and the Light, the 3rd book in that trilogy, has been shortlisted for the Women's Prize, and I will be reviewing all of those books. Therefore, I also needed this one, which is the 2nd in the trilogy. Her trilogy is about Thomas Cromwell, and it is long and it is epic, and I'll talk about it once I have read it, but it is very well beloved. For work, I bought Chernobyl Prayer, which I have had on my radar for a very long time. I want to learn more about Chernobyl. I already know quite a lot because I got a bit obsessed with it. My geneticist thinks there is a chance that I was born with EEC because of Chernobyl. I was born exactly 9 months after it, and a lot of rain fell in the northeast of England after Chernobyl, and there was a 20% increase in birth defects the following year. So I have a weird interest in Chernobyl, and this is a lot of first-hand accounts of that. I also bought this cookbook which so many people have bought because she is brilliant. This is Roasting Tin Around the World. It is the 4th one in the Roasting Tin series. I have them all, and it's by Rukmini Iyer. And there are so many recipes in here that I want to do. In our weekly shop, we have got ingredients to do one of them. Let me find it and I will show you. This one here, which is roasted sweet potato with feta, spring onions and peanuts. Yes, please. Thank you very much. I received my monthly copy of poetry. I'm often asked what poetry journals I recommend people subscribe to. I'm subscribed to 3, the Rialto, Poetry London and Poetry. Poetry is by far the cheapest. I think it works out at about £3 an issue, and you get 1 a month plus a free tote bag. It is actually ridiculous what you get for your money with this. So if you're looking for a very affordable poetry journal to sign up for, I recommend this. And they always have a great balance of new and also well-established poets. I received this book in the post unsolicited, but I'm very excited about it. It's a new book by M.R. Carey, and he is the author of The Girl with All the Gifts, which was one of my favourite books back in 2014. And this is called The Book of Klee. It is at the beginning of a new trilogy for him. It says, "Everything that lives hates us. Beyond the walls of the small village of Mythen Rood lies an unrecognisable landscape, a place where overgrown forests are filled with choker trees and deadly seeds that will kill you where you stand. If they don't get you, the shunned men will. Klee has lived in Mythen Rood his entire life. He believes the first rule of survival is that you don't venture too far beyond the walls. He is wrong." This sounds like a mashup of The Chrysalids and The Day of the Triffids, and I'm very much here for that. Yes. I was also sent this novel for review from Granta. This is Fractures by Andres Newman, and it's about a man called Mr. Wanatabi who survived both the Hiroshima disaster and the Fukushima disaster, and it's about his life between those 2 disastrous events and reflecting on lost love and all of that and trauma. I think that this sounds really, really interesting. A recommendation from one of you. I bought this. It is a non-fiction book called A Honeybee Has 5 Openings by Helen Jukes. It's my favourite kind of non-fiction book in that it blends academic nature writing with memoir. So it's about Helen feeling overwhelmed in the city, and then she turns to beekeeping, but then she's conflicted about whether beekeeping is an okay thing to do and whether she's just trapping other creatures. So I think that this sounds very, very promising, and I thank you for recommending it to me. And the final book that I was sent for review is Was Body by Billy R. Tadros. I don't know much about this at all, except I was pitched it as a poet scholar writing about queerness, an injured body, and attempting to rewrite those narratives in her own voice, because she is herself an injured queer poet. And I'm here for all of those things. I write about those things myself. So yes, please, thank you very much. I will link a sample poem down below because it is much easier to tell if you gel with the poet by actually reading their work. So those are all the books that I have been sent for review recently or have bought myself. As I said, I will link all of them in the description box down below. Have you read any of these? Would you like to? I hope you're all having a good week, as good as you can right now, and I will speak to you all very soon. Lots of bookish love. Bye.